Okay, we are live. Greetings. It may very well be that the yeah. Greetings all. Sorry for the late start. You are tuned into Context Matters. I'm on the road, so you know how that is. Trying to get in where I fit in, but the data, the what they call this now, the internet is not being kind to me. So bear with me. For those of you who are listening on Reggae Global Radio, I ask that I hope that you're hearing me and I hope all goes well. The system is saying that I am live there. I don't have Kevin to assist me, but yeah, our topic today certainly our topic today is people on TikTok. Big up on yourself, the mic can't see me, but we're gonna have a conversation today. When I tell you that Jamaica nice and they don't believe me, but boy, I tell you, ain't nothing nicer than Jamaica. It when I was small, I used to when you come home from school. Well, I don't know if it's if you skull school, and I don't want to say I did skull school, but when you come home from school, yeah, right when you bust through the door, it's like sand through the hourglass. So are the days of our lives. So naturally, it's Halloween, so when you're not feeling away, we don't know some ugly already. So boo to everybody. But I want to talk about the topic. The topic is one in which we certainly, I can say to you, it's relevant. And I'm going to tell you why it's relevant now. It's relevant because a couple weeks ago, the People's National Party, look, Rowena Williams is laughing. She bought into my book. I just went to the agricultural fest in Portland, and a lady was nice enough to give me a scalp massage with the beautiful oils, castor oil, and all of this, and make sure my hair smell good. So I'm rejuvenated and I'm excited and all of that. But I want to tell you, a couple of weeks ago, the People's National Party named me the candidate the for Portland Eastern, and since then I've um, taken up residence in Portland of great importance to be closer to the people so that I can serve them and answer to their needs where necessary. And I can tell you, um, see, people telling me where I was. Don't tell them read. Don't tell them where I was. You know how it goes. Security is everything. Um, but anyway, and there was this. I'm gonna call it fake morality. I'm doubling down on the morally bankrupt who have access to press releases and they can just put out press release and say whatever they like in the press release. And it's usually in this space I've always talked about ad hominem, and it is about attacking. It's called attacking the person, and attacking the person simply means since you can't say that they can't say that I'm incompetent. No one can say that. They can't say that I'm uneducated or lack education. So they have to go for the things that um, would be displeasing to the eyes or the ears of the masses, even when not true. So um, this thing about twice convicted, yes, it's factual that I'm twice convicted, but expungement serves as, and I say these things already, serves as a tool to say as if it never were void ab initio, as if it never existed. So I want you to appreciate that aspect of it, that when they speak about expungement, those who speak about it is actually breaking the law. But we know that there are a lot of persons who are criminals who, and we're going to talk about some of them, um, just in passing to facilitate this conversation. But there's a lot of people who will pass judgment, and it's so bad that let's for instance speak about Mr. Adija Palmer, who is not a convict, doesn't have a conviction, and if you respect the rule of law, you ought to respect the judgment of the court. Instead, they curse me because I use the Constitution, which is supposed to protect the rights of the people, to ensure that Mr. Palmer was free. These things are significant because it speaks about the emptiness, the empty barrel minded individuals who walk around in spaces of authority. And the reality of it is, it's a matter for the people. One thing I can say is, in an effort not to disenfranchise the people, not to disenfranchise the people, you ought to allow the people to decide when it comes to representation. I'm speaking on this, even though I see some Cynthia says sometimes it's best not to say anything, but I want you to understand something. When I speak in defense of this Constitution and the laws of Jamaica. I invite persons who are unsure in light of the misrepresentation that is put out um, into the space. Then you definitely can appreciate that if you look into the law and the Constitution, nowhere in the law and the Constitution it prevents me from running. Similarly, anybody, it's very clear as to when it is that you cannot run, and this is all across the world. As it is right now, Jamaica is a third world country. There was a Vision 3030 which basically fell flat. It's not happening, and your Prime Minister has admitted that it's not happening. So keep that in mind. But what I want you to understand is, as we watch next week, Tuesday, November 5th, where a convict and a prosecutor is running for the highest office of the land, a former prosecutor who is also a black woman, who also has Jamaican heritage and Indian heritage. So she is the perfect representation of out of many one, if one person could have ever represented that. And it will be interesting to watch if patriarchy reigns supreme, if it matters that the only time people make a fuss about persons with convictions is if you happen to be a black man like Marcus Garvey, Paul Bogle, Sam Sharp, um, and Malcolm X, Martin Luther King, Nelson Mandela, or if when you are white with a conviction, it doesn't matter, or whether it matters only when you are a criminal if you happen to be a Rasta man, or if you happen to notwithstanding being a juvenile and all of that, if those things matter. We have to watch these things because persons made heavy, and they continue to make it a serious issue about representation. And it is always painful to realize that living in a space where l- rehabilitation, hello, my favorite PLO, I see you. Um, Clifton Oddman, me used to listening to your father. Big up yourself. If living in a world where persons become incarcerated, and the purpose of incarceration, one is for punishment, but the punishment is a sentence, and the sentence, a judge says this is the amount of sentence that you need in an effort to correct whatever wrong is perceived for you to have. Having corrected that wrong and having proven rehabilitation for you to be the best version of yourself, what is expected to happen is you enter society through a process called reintegration. Proper reintegration would mean that you can function in society and contribute meaningful to the society. Now, big up yourself, Barbara. I love you too. In contributing meaningfully to the society, it means that you would live a life of service. Now, notice it says context matters, judgment from the morally bankrupt, a life incarcerated versus a lie of service. People say that you are to come out and serve your country and serve and be the best that you can be. Clearly, that is a lie because there are many persons who don't want you to participate. They don't want you to tell young black men and young black women that they are to strive to be the doctors and the lawyers. They don't want you to rid the country. I'm speaking of Jamaica right now more than anywhere. They don't want poor people to not be poor. They don't want Jamaican people to live at a standard that is fit to be a human. They don't want a recognition that the least among us is to be treated as humans because they are morally bankrupt and they cannot sleep at night and feel good amongst themselves unless they have people who are impoverished so they can feel better about themselves. This is important, and I'm saying it because anytime you interface and interact with people that lack compassion, empathy, yes, and just a sense of the presence of God in them, it speaks a lot and it says a lot about the country that you're living in and the people who are living in it. One is to be concerned when young people can come together saying that in the interest of the country and wanting what's best for their country, they make noise about it. Um, then it becomes, but when it's one of their own, they tell people shut up and use the same argument that the press release that they wrote about disqualifying me. So I just want to make something clear, and I'm not calling any names. There's a complete difference between why they call someone an ex-convict. It means they would have gone through the prison system, convicted, did their time, came into the world and is doing other things. So they're an ex-criminal versus persons who are criminals, caught being a criminal, caught with corruption, accused of corruption, and notwithstanding the presumption of innocence, if we use the rationale that people use, for instance, a government that has spent its time to find the term violence contributors to label people in an effort to soil their reputation and character, then one wonders if this is a topic of moral turpitude, of moral decadence, of just the concept of living in a moral society where the law and morality reaches itself. Does morality even have a place when it comes to politics, given that in certainly in the United States we speak about Donald Trump convicted, and there were persons who were convicted and ran from a prison cell and won when it comes to representation. I did the research because that's what law is. So when you hear the conversation that says it's a moral one, they were prepared to change the constitution to ensure freedom fighters and people who fight for poor people like me are excluded from even representation. If it were not for the comrade leader, Mark Golding, to ensure that the constitutional rights of indigenous people, which were not included in the constitutional reform, the rights of minority groups, which include persons who are convicted and can prove rehabilitation, then you would have an idea of what vision the current government had for Jamaican people after the rights of the Jamaican people were protected under the charter, which just came into effect 2011. A big mistake, they would think. If you don't believe me, they have lost every constitutional matter since this government has been in power. They've never won a matter when it comes to constitution, when it comes to the constitutionality of something. Even if at first instance they manage at a first blush because of a misinterpretation by a judge at first instance on the right to freedom of expression, such as the Virgo case, it has never done. Certainly not when one was brought by me. So I just want to use that um, to speak about what it is to understand the difference between um, allowing people to decide, allowing people to choose who their representatives are. So for me, I personally will say that if it is that it was a request from the people that the senior counsel, Miss Dalrymple, who is before the General Legal Counsel and who is before the court, is being called upon to continue to represent them as she has done before. I don't think that persons who are outside of the people who want her to represent her is to say anything. I'm not speaking in defense of the Prime Minister. I think as it is right now, maybe I'm being biased because I think people like the Prime Minister, people like Miss Dalrymple, they, even though theirs is prospective, and their bout and their tainting of their character with a bout of corruption and criminality puts them in the category of me, who is in the past by my juvenile convictions. Certainly, at least the focus won't be so much on me, because when one speaks of me, they have those persons to think about: your prime minister and Dalrymple and the many other persons all over Jamaica who have who have those character flaws. So I have never professed to be perfect, and I've never been one to talk down to people or discriminate or anything like that. So it's important for me to address that, because what will then happen is, as the conversation of ad hominem and the filth that comes out of the mouth of people who are allowed to be on radio and stuff like that, it is quite fine, because we have selective discrimination and selective disrespect um, when it comes to how people are allowed to tarnish the reputation of people, or even use shared disrespect, as if Isat Buchanan, that's me, is not somebody's child, as if my parents aren't people as well, who find themselves um, who certainly finds themselves in the, I don't know, this thing is obviously not. Hold on. Yeah, I don't know what's going on there. Yeah, who finds themselves whatever the situation is, though, it is interesting to note. It came on. Okay, yeah. Sorry about that. Yeah, see, walking divine say hurt people always hurt people. So maybe that's why I don't hurt people, because I'm not hurt. The God I serve deals with all people and all white. Okay, who take all. I'm being distracted. You hear? Yeah, very inconsiderate people around me, but I just need you guys to know that. Yeah, but anyway, take care, Naz. Walk good. May I call your name? Okay, later. Yeah. Um. So yeah, that it goes to show that when people, it's not even a matter of hurt people. Wicked people hurt people. How that sound? Wicked people are the type of people who will ensure that people remain in suffrage. Your own people, even after slavery, would still want to enslave you so they can feel better about themselves. There's a lot of things that I could say, but certain things are very, very um evident. So it doesn't have to be me. Because you see, when I speak the truth, it hurts people. But my father tell me that the truth is the truth and is not an offense. Offensive, yes, but it's not an offense. So When people talk up the things and try to disrespect me, you're only disrespecting yourself, because in the beginning, so the African man did say, in the beginning, you were not of any relevance in the first instance, and you have no moral authority to speak negativity into my life. So you see, the God I serve, he never takes a long time to ensure that the enemies that attempt to put stumbling blocks in my way are set right. So at not even 30 days pass and the criminals them run out and they have to be trying to dress up the nastiness. Yeah, I just wanted to appreciate that, and I have nothing more to say on that matter, because as the time goes by and God reveals, I'm gonna talk about God, yeah, man, preaching for the church. As God reveals all the ill intentions of those who come before them, I can say, and many can't, that if the intentions, if any man intentions is never good or not good when serving the people, God should do what is right and remove them from this earth. So it's all on God, because that is it. When people do good, good will follow. And that is a fact. So you cannot trick people, because people's lives are real. One should never, ever, ever, ever take the opportunity to take advantage of people and leave people in abject poverty. And in the name of social media, where filters look nice, you can lie about roads that look good. We have to buy one tire that cost $79,000 because so the road them look like I said. Amen. So I'm gonna be I'm just gonna just carry on, but to say that I feel the pain of the people of Portland Eastern, because I'm here. I'm walking around and I'm seeing the lies and I'm seeing the neglect. Um Somebody said, would you limit the constitutional protection of people known to be involved in crime? Absolutely not. You can The constitutional rights are for everybody, and people need to understand that. The minute that you be selective, you have breached equality before the law, because the law is for everybody. The irony about it is that the law as it is being flouted and disrespected and is being broken. The very laws that protect you, for instance, when you commit corruption and you're thief and you're wicked and you're nasty with it, because you're in the position to change it, you come and say you're going to change it. But I too don't drink water from every and everywhere. It's pure water I drink. So I just go leave it at that. I might, my thirst can always quench, because me not have no dirty heart and dirty intention, and I'm not mentally ill. So I don't need a psychologist or a psychiatrist on board. Yeah. Heart is clean. So yeah, and the thing about the security, God is my security. God is my security. I'm making that known. So yeah, so those who ride like lightning will crash like thunder, and those who live by the gun will die by the gun. And those who feel like say them can go over your man, be very careful. All right, that's all I'm gonna say. And yeah, but outside of that, in the context of this conversation, and I think I've laid the foundation about people who are morally bankrupt. Let me just, now somebody said code. Anyway, so you must behave with yourself, You must behave with yourself. Yeah, so it is so interesting, because when they run out, there's a man in Montego Bay where a lawyer thief the whole of land, and him go to a body for protection and help, and is one piece of drama to get the assistance. Selective prosecution. The purpose of a governing body like the medical association and the legal council and things like that is to protect the public from the professionals who will thief you, who will take your title and try keep it for themselves and convert it for them and them friends, who will steal your money. Even now, so any profession, when you are there for the public, it is the negligence and the thief and the stealing and the conversion of land and the disenfranchisement that the legal bodies are there for. So do not be fooled because I am prosecuted twice by the governing body for exercising my right to freedom of expression and fighting for my clients. You should want a lawyer that will fight for you and stand up for you when people are breaching your constitutional rights, deliberately trying to hold you in prison and doing all the things. And yes, I am different. And yes, because I have experience incarceration because that was ordained by God. The person who I am now is why I am able to feel the reality when people say that somebody is guilty, even when they're not. And when somebody says, help me, and I believe them, I help them. And when they can't convict you, they leave you incarcerated for 50 years because they don't have one iota of evidence to send you to prison. And it's okay with them. It's okay for them to do that. It's okay for them to say that you have lice and junja in your hair because they are the persons in authority. It's okay for them to abuse. I am you, you know. I am you. I'm proud to say I am you. I will never, ever, ever stop saying that. So when they are rejecting me and when they're speaking, they're rejecting you. They're rejecting a son of Jamaica. They're rejecting the freedom fighter. They're rejecting the only person that stands up for the rights of the people. And that is my mission and mandate in life. So I am not afraid. I am never afraid. Big up yourself, Loxley. So a life um of the incarcerated. Imagine being sentenced to life and being incarcerated. And being sentenced to life is not like federal prison where it's natural life and you're never going to come out. In the English jurisprudence, a life sentence means there is some possibility of parole unless a judge says otherwise. So imagine being incarcerated, imagine being sentenced to life in prison. Imagine going through all of that and having gone through that and experienced that, and you've done your time and you've done all things possible for rehabilitation. You are then set free. And I'm going there because I have a young man who his story is he's from a Caribbean country. He's from a nation that is just as forward thinking as Jamaica. It's Trinidad and Tobago, but I don't want to sit here and say Trinidad and Tobago better than Jamaica and then everybody cuss me. But what I do know is that these countries are situated differently culturally, because as it is where we just have rich and poor, they have racial undertones, and they have a large Indian population, they have a large Muslim population. So the church and the state and the religions intertwine, and it's just a compendium of issues that comes together. So they became a republic long ago, and they kept the Privy Council, and the CCJ is based in Trinidad. Um, what I will say is when you can. Yeah, what I will say though is it is a great nation. Um, do you think more than economic policies, values, and morals are the number one issue? That's a loaded question. So I think you should rephrase that, Amulu. I'm seeing all the questions, but that was an interesting one. Yeah, so when people are found, or when people find themselves in that type of situation, it is right there and then that um one wonders if it is definitely not only in the Jamaican space where morally bankrupt people try to have self-righteousness and try to pass judgment. So let me just put things into perspective. Can you imagine somebody who enjoys the nightlife of Amsterdam, who enjoys the beauty of going to back road, who enjoys the vicissitudes of life and all that entails with the seven deadly sins, the houses, the brothels and the massage parlors with the happy endings, the infidelities and the outside children and the cheating on the wives with women and men and all and threesomes and all of the moral destruction that is the decay and fabric of our society. And then because it is that you walk down the aisle and you pretend to be a righteous married man or woman, it don't count when you do things in secret and in the closet. So you can sleep with whomever, and you can rent apartments, even sometimes from me, for your what you call it, your sweetheart and your concubines, and pay the rent and all of these things, and it's all okay as long as nobody knows. And you stand in church on Sunday as the righteous human being that you are, and you have your friends and you drink and you smoke, and when you're drunk and your rum and your money done, you still know your friends them. And sometimes you can drop asleep and wake up and hear that somebody's dead in your house, and you don't go to prison for it because you and your friend them is okay. And all the people that do all these things and they have moral righteousness because they have all the friends in the right places to prevent people from saying anything. No, do you think, and you can go to the New Testament, Paul, who used to be Saul, wrote several letters to the Corinthians and the Galatians and all the people who was necessary. And he had different messages to them because they had different sins and different moral breaches. And you get up after you down ribbies, and you wind up and you turn it around and you push it back in, and all of this is in the name of carnival. But if you back it up on the dumper truck, it's a big problem because you're now morally you know on the fabric of moral turpitude is caught in decadence, and it's the decay of society because of who it is coming from. I am saying for you to understand that this is Jesus says he without sin cast the first stone. It is about being very, 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 very slow to judgment, because if you walk a mile in somebody moccasin or shoes, then you would understand instantly that one is to be very, 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 very cautious about how they bring morality into any conversation about how society is fashioned, because we are not in a position to judge people. I saw just recently that a restaurant that actually makes products that is liking to me, with a little coleslaw and a little barbecue on it. I'm not call a name, come and not do no self promotion for them people. And it's a problem because the somehow in the commercial a Rasta man went and bought some food. So I guess I'm not a Rasta man. But Kupan you too, I guess say me is not a Rasta man. And you have some of them where firebone and say me is not a Rasta man because me like a barbecue with a little chicken. But them a eat and consume things where attached to anyway. You get what I'm saying? So you can fire burn for one thing, and the body is a temple. So I have no moral authority. Helen, stop scandal me and put KFC up there. We're not advertising KFC today. Anyway, can you imagine somebody saying, I am disqualified from being a Rastaman because I eat KFC? But there was a song from a Rastaman who said, well, no, where you putting at the chicken? And then you're there smoking, craving and this and that, and your weed, and your bum, and your rum, and your Alizé, and your Hennessy, and your Guinness, and your Viagra, and your roots, and your Baba roots, and everything, so you can do whatever thing, and you have everything from your tongue to your toenail, them firm like whatever, so you can perform in the way that you need to. But because it's behind closed doors, you're okay. And so no, don't tell them. And then they say them is lying in the jungle. Well, when me see the lion them in the jungle, them run down everything and then yam it raw. I'm in no way suggesting that you must eat the raw meat. But I'm simply saying that um, we're very selective in who we have a problem with. Like for instance, the some things are going to leave alone because I'm a human rights attorney and I think people is lost on that. Walking in the divine purpose, say pork nice. Fire for you! Fire for the pig! Fire for the pork! Anybody eat pork, just don't they know we here. And that's why I do. Me a pass judgment pan you know. How no for damn the pork. No pork, whether it jerk it, cook it, boil or stew. We said none of that. So you can do anything in life, but once you name the pork, fire for you. We're done with you. Big up all the people that were bastard jerk. We blaze up the pork by one side and the smoke going on the chicken and people still go buy it. Not say nothing still. But anyway, and you see, I'm glad everybody could laugh because I can tell you, say, that is the root of it. Hello, good evening. I'm on my live. Are you calling about the show? All right, gonna ask you to call back at 6:30, please. Thank you very much. Yes, and so yeah, you get the point. Everybody, look, Rowena Williams said, "Boy, I love the poor." When I see, and then I start to defend it. But can you imagine now me sitting down and writing a press release? It has been brought to my attention that I saw some people eating pork. It is they are unbecoming of a human being and should not be allowed to be in leadership because they are pork eaters. They have defiled the temple that God has given them and should be disqualified from leadership because I am a morally righteous and I am a pompous bastard who sometimes, when no one is looking, I shave all the hair from around my mouth so I can be clean. Yes, yes. Anyway, you do get the point. I think I brought home the point, and I've used satire. And if it's one thing I learned from the former president of the Court of Appeal, Justice Panton, when I apologize again, for nothing, don't hold your breath, you pork eating. Anyway, I'm glad you guys could share in this laugh because either way, yeah, thank you, chosen Claudette. Either way, it is the genesis of norms and values and how morality can be ridiculous in a free and democratic society. And I want you to appreciate that um, it's much ado about nothing when what can what can never be misplaced or misguided or taken away is the reality that them say Tom drunk but Tom no fool. Well, the people, I guess if you're while you're drunk, you can be a fool because you cannot be aware. But what is important is that we are to make an effort to stay awake, stay woke. Do not let people rock you to sleep and fight for. Um, so, what's wrong with some hair around the mouth? You know, so that's the thing about that, about what's wrong with the hair, about, Brazilian wax has become phenomenon. People don't like hair under them people don't like hair anywhere, so I guess it's a new thing. I don't have a problem with it. It forms my identity. It is who I am, and I like this for me. I work for myself. I don't work for nobody. You understand? And so when I put myself up for public service, take me as I am, because this is me, in public and in private. I think that's the problem that people are having, because one of the biggest hypocritical realities is that there are two societies, two Jamaican societies. One set of people only need to see you when they need you for your votes. And then they send you back to me after they get the votes. And then you say, if me did know. So thank you, Rowena. You can't lyrics me pan while me there live, cause my head big and it was swell. Yeah. But yeah, and so what you have to do is to educate your brothers and sisters to know that what they're voting for is their life. I actually heard the prime minister say, I guess, over his dead body, or he will not allow the People's National Party, who are novices, to, and they're inviting novices, or who are novices, to try to run the economy. Well, let me tell you something. It is the people who have the this who makes the decision to decide who will run the country. And certainly here in Portland Eastern, in line with the whole of Jamaica, we have the win. And that's my campaign slogan, we have the win. So no, you won't hear nothing that rhyme with Buchanan, the Rastaman, or anything that rhyme with Action Buchanan or whatever, whatever. You won't hear nothing corny like that. What you gonna know is we have the win. I always speak things into existence. God on time, we have the win. And we've been saying God on time because we know say God knows when the right time it is. My guest is here. I see Nicholas can hear. So I don't want to shift the conversation too far, but just know we is patois. It's just my patois is bad. If Keisha was on here, she'd be dying with laughter. I say we have the win, but them say we have the win. So you have to take the H's off where it's supposed to be, because it's we, W-I, have, A-V, D-D-I, and win. See, even Jamaican vibe, you're misspelling, yeah. But my patois is a little bit English, because of course, shout out to my ancestors, the white ones who impregnated the white who got impregnated by the Negroes of this country. You hear me? I make fun of Big Youth and him white mama. But anyway, yeah, the notwithstanding, yeah. And people not to worry, I'm black where it needs to be. If I don't stop today, they're gonna come for me. So anyway, my guest is Nicholas Khan. And let me tell you about this young man. He's going to tell you about himself, but he lives in an alternative universe from me. Um, he has experienced juvenile incarceration and adult incarceration for maybe one of the most heinous crimes known to man. The difference is he's not from the society of Jamaica that discards its citizens who were incarcerated. So he travels the world, and he involves himself in prison reform and the Innocence Project, and he's no he's one of the most respected representatives to persons who have been rehabilitated. I am honored to know him, and he will tell you much more about his work. And as I always say, context matters. It's important for you to see the faces of people who in my view, God has intervened in their lives and they are living their purpose. And I introduce you to them, certainly on this program, with the hope that when you hear from them, you can look yourself in the mirror. And no, I'm not saying everybody go to prison, no, but you can look yourself into the mirror and say, through your eyes, as the living in the image of God, to say, what is my purpose? And I hope that when you do find it, it is something that when you unleash it on society, so many others benefit from it. And before I bring him on, I'm saying the context to which I'm putting this in is there are times when we get up in the morning and the minute we say we can't bother, it affects so many lives. And if we had just step out and do what we had to do at the time, many lives would have been impacted. And I pray for all the people who are listening that when you do something in life, it's impactful. And no, I'm not talking the women who take a girl man or husband, or the men who thief a boy, woman, and leave them crying. That's not impact that we're talking about. We're talking about changing people's lives for the positive, making contributions so that for the future everybody benefits. Living in a community where everybody's child is our children, and where everybody's dreams we help to foster and we help for them to become a reality. That's the type of nation that we need to be in, so that when we talk about economic stability, it is a matter of choice that people live the way that they live. And the way we are the gems of the world. That's the Caribbean. So somebody said, so mindful, so demure, so unique. You saw how I was very respectful when I said that. That's what it is. What can go so? So here it is. Here it is. We are at an impasse where we are going to introduce our guest. He's going to introduce ourselves. We'll take the time signal and we'll go right into the conversation. All right. Nicholas, greetings, sir.
Greetings, is that an
All
honor
right.
and our conference day. Good day, everybody. My name is Nicholas Khan from Trinidad and Tobago. I work at Incarceration Nation Network. I work for that organization. Incarceration Nation Network is an organization really aimed to reform the justice system and help reduce recidivism.
Mm-hmm.
Also, I work for a local college called Custard, where I help individuals like myself further their studies, whether it be
Mm-hmm.
into entrepreneurship, whether it be into music and arts, whether it to be even getting a job as well.
Right.
You know? Yeah, because I know the importance of being able to get a job. I deal with it every day with guys reaching out to me and Nick, I need a job, I need a job. So right
Mm-hmm.
now, my aim right now is how do we change the policy of
Right.
somebody who would have already served their time and genuinely want to change around their way of life, want to get a job and being turned down by because they have this thing called a certificate of character.
Mm-hmm.
It's a big challenge because what you expect a man to do?
But I can answer that. We expect you to go and find somewhere and go kill yourself. We want that for our young people to go and kill themselves.
Hmm.
So we don't want you to have jobs, and we don't want you to trying to make sure the people on TikTok see you. So that's the best I can do, TikTok people. Yeah, we don't want to we don't want you to have jobs. We don't want you to behave like you want to come and be productive in society. So Nicholas, certainly what you are doing right now is criminal. How dare you put your life together and talk about you in college and teaching young people to find their way in life. You're committing blasphemy. But I will say to you, is it that what has the feedback been like? And I want to start with the college. What has the feedback been like for you, interfacing with the college?
The feedback has been great, to be quite honest. And the type of person I am,
Mm-hmm.
I block away all negativity. Like I don't really have time for, because it's human nature. You will always get, you kill a man, you do this, you do that, and I don't have time for that. Like literally, I don't have
Mm-hmm.
time to respond to anybody like that because, like I was telling one of my colleagues, yo, I'm not supposed to be out there. I used to face prosecution and judges and saying the worst about me.
Right.
I don't have time to study what people have to say. Like, I walk in my truth, I walk in my purpose. God give me this purpose. It's that. No much time I shy away from this position.
Mm-hmm. But
I don't want a part of that.
why,
I always say when I come out of prison,
why would you shy away from the position? I want the people to get a sense of how you feel when the naysayers come at you.
just like how you say, who are you to come to talk about college? I
Yes.
understand that society don't care about that. That's how I used to think. Nah. Society don't care about that. They could crucify Christ. They get rid of Malcolm. They get rid, like that. That was my mentality now. Like when they stand up for people, especially our people, it's the same ones that try to bring it on. Like that was my mentality.
Mm-hmm.
And I just can't run from it no more. Like God really reach out to me and say, yo, stop playing the fool. I'm trying to help you. So
Mm-hmm.
and it actually changed my life, like daily, like it do have a day like yesterday morning, it had this guy just message me randomly, bro, I in a gang, I watching a TikTok, I watching Instagram, you inspire me. I just have one question for you. I like, waiters, hey, what make you change your life, boy? So that is that. I let me know I doing this thing for a
Mm-hmm.
man to be telling me that. But people, when I recently received a national award from the government of Trinidad and Tobago, and persons who they people will label as gang leaders messaging me, yo, you're doing the thing, you're doing what we cannot do. We're proud
Yes.
of you, right? So for me, that alone means a lot to me. That means like, if them could see it that way.
All right, so I'm glad that you said that because I have been saying even before you came on, I don't know if you was listening to the conversation, that Trinidad and Tobago is a lot more human rights centered and a lot more forward thinking than the government of the day in Jamaica.
Mm-hmm.
Um, this is a government to government thing because there have been times in Trinidad where the government would never give you a national award, given that
No,
you were incarcerated and especially
convicted for a murder. I was
want,
convicted for a murder.
want you to tell the people you don't have to get into the complete
No,
circumstances of
I in my car right now. I actually walk away from 50 youths
yes,
sharing my testimony. Like, and I would tell the people I ran away from home when I was 13 years. I end
yeah,
up on the streets following crime. I
right.
was, I like that. I was doing this thing. I end up in prison at the age of 17 years.
Mm,
Still continuing down this path. And I was now telling them that it lead up to a point where I woke up in the hospital because three guys running on me and stab me up. I
mm,
wake up in the hospital and I retaliate because we young. When you're young, you're young.
right.
And after I recover, I see one of the guys that attacked me and I
Hold on 1 second. Yeah, go ahead, continue.
took my revenge.
Mm-hmm.
And I never gave any case, but he decided to give me a case. So I had an additional case.
Mm-hmm.
So when the manager saw me in, she said, I fed up of you. Instantly as she saw me, I fed up of you. She sentenced me. So I was to move off the remand section into the convicted section.
So the person who died was while you were in prison.
No, 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 no.
Okay, okay, okay.
I was studying gang violence in prison.
Okay, okay, okay.
I
You were out,
7 charges I had. Yeah, I
you
was
were out,
following.
you were out of control then, basically.
Yeah, I was still following that part. Is that so that the man she give my she convict me for 3 months while I was still in the remand. I went to the convicted section, and it was that moment where
Mm,
opposite me was a guy, a elder guy, and I was explaining just now, like, I see this old man, you know, you're young, you charge your murder, you tell yourself that is a form of credibility to you now, because when you're young, there's things like that. I see
mhm.
this old man in prison, old man, we do it in prison, you're not supposed to be here. Like, I supposed to be here. Like, that how I song. So when he
Right.
tell me he in prison 17 years, he said, and he talking to a man who was in jail 2 years at the time. I said, 2 years? 17 years? I said, boy, when you go home, the man tell me doing lifetime, he said, he not going home.
All right, just hold. I have to take the time signal, so just hold 1 second, please.
It's all in life. Gotta keep your head up and keep it straight. No time for living a lie. Gotta keep it moving till you get it right. That's right. It's all in life. Gotta keep your head up and keep it straight. No time to be living a lie. You can make it if you try. No, I heard them say life much better you live it your own way. That's right. It's all in life. Gotta keep your head up and keep it straight. No time for living a lie. Gotta keep it moving till you get it right. That's right. It's all in life. Gotta keep your head up and keep it straight. No time to be living a lie. You can make it if you try. No, I heard them say life much better you live it your own way.
Yeah. So you were saying just at the top of the hour, that you were still studying gang violence even after committing murder and
Yeah,
not been tried and convicted yet.
nope. I wasn't tried or convicted yet. I was young. I was still studying friends at prison and the culture in prison.
All
I
right.
woke up in the hospital and I took revenge, and in my shit convict me that small time. I
Mm-hmm.
was sent to a different section of the prison, and I met this guy who was serving, who was in prison 17 years at the time. Like, I
Mm-hmm.
never thought a man could be in jail so long. That like when he tell me he's serving a lifetime, he said, like, these things I hear in the movies, or I used to see in the movies. So when I actually seen this guy telling me in jail 17 years for a murder and he doing a lifetime, that when I realized I in prison, like, I get to realize why I was. And it was at that moment he was reading some books, and just out of curiosity, playing fast, I asked him what book he read, and he told me. He asked me if I want book to read at the time. I tell him I can't really read. Can't drop out of school when I was 13 years. He say I have all the time and he will. Wait, don't know I will help you. And he gave me a book to read. And that man helped me read. That
So
man helped me read.
before you go into prison, you could not read.
You know, I cannot read. I dropped out of school when I was 13 years. I ran away from home when I was 13 years.
Mm.
Literally on the streets. Like, I literally used to sleep on the streets. I used to literally look for an abandoned house and sleep in the night come.
So let me ask you a question. Do you think that running away from home is what led you to the gang life?
Um, that point, that point, I just wanted to feel some form of family.
A sense of belonging.
Yeah,
How long did you spend in prison?
15 years.
How long did they give you? Was it 15 years before parole, or
We,
you got a
we
determinate
do
sentence?
have parole in Trinidad, but I was sentenced to 30 years, and it break down in half.
Oh, so you got a 30-year sentence for murder, and you only have to do half of it, like night
Yeah,
and day. So you did the full 15.
flat.
Okay, and then you just Walk out of jail
Yeah,
and nothing behind you.
no cases.
No
I have,
cases. Nothing.
I had five convictions by two acquitted, two cases that I won. So seven charges I had in on while I received three while in prison. I went in with four and I received three while in prison.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow, wow. And so you went from 30 years in prison to national honor. I want to tell you,
Yeah.
y'all tell me,
Yeah.
what madness is this? Talk to me. There's a man, I must tell you before you go on, there's a man called Reverend Al, I almost say Reverend Al Sharpton, but I think his name Al, I don't, they'll tell me in the comment. Anyway, he assisted. We had a famous gang leader, Dodos, and they had a state of emergency and all kind of stuff to extract him out of Tivoli. Well, I think it's Al Reed is his name. He assisted him, and long story short, he was up for a national honor, and there was public outcry, and he had to refuse to take it or give it back or decline. So this is somebody who, Al Miller, right, Reverend Al Miller, somebody who was well deserving of a national honor. He served the people, and the Jamaica morally bankrupt said no, him can't get it. Mind you, after that. After that, they gave it to some people. You would be, I could tell you stories, but
A similar, some similar happened, but this is in the US and California. Stan Tookie Williams, the leader,
yeah,
the founder of the Crips,
yes, yes, yes,
he
yes,
was
yes.
actually nominated several times for Nobel Prize.
Public outcry. Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly. And that was for a Nobel Peace Prize, and I think
yeah,
he's deserving of it. But um, I think we have selective morality. But kudos to Trinidad for recognizing you because your work has taken you to Africa, Guyana, Brazil, all over the world. I'll
yeah.
let you say it, but I want people to know the impact of that because when they see me on a plane and they see me in England and they see me in other countries, they say, how did they let that convict? They like to call me a convict, and
Yeah.
they like to say twice convicted as if they think it hurts me. It's a
In
part of
Trinidad, they like to call you a jail man.
jail man. Yeah, they call me worse than that, but it's important to know that they try to talk down on your life, and I'm like, sir, ma'am, I'm an attorney. I went to the Privy Council. I spoke before people you'll never get the opportunity to speak
Yeah,
before, and you're still trying to make me your doormat. So for
yeah.
me, seeing that the country gave you a national honor and they recognize gang violence across the Caribbean and what you are doing to represent a class of people who they really want to, they really want the help, they really want to have a sense of purpose, and you represent that. That's why we're talking now, because I am you, my brother. And even though Jamaica is not quite there yet
I
completely,
will get it. We will get it.
we will get there. But there are persons who message me and say, Isaac, you inspire me. So I'm asking you to share that that aspect of it, what it feels like to get a national honor, to have your countrymen appreciate that you've gone through an ordeal. You are a success story, and you are a role model to so many young people who can leave gang violence, put down the gun, respect life. I'm saying all of it because when I process the man that you are now, I have the greatest amount of respect for you for being able to hold it together. Yeah.
When I received the award,
Yes.
my first response to everybody was, this award really goes out to everybody like myself who
Mm-hmm.
society cast down and tell we's this, we's that, we can be
Right.
better, we can do good. This award is is to show that we could. We are here and we're here to mark we territory.
Right.
You know. So for me, that was my moment where I wanted to share my moment with everybody who passed through the prison system, whether it was guilty or not, just to shed that inspiration, like, yo, no matter what we've been through, it's still a room for change, and don't ever give up. So that was my moment. I
Mm-hmm.
didn't really receive the award for, like, yeah, this I accomplished this. I said we accomplished this. So that was my moment.
Exactly. Appreciate for sharing that. Now, in terms of the work that you do with these organizations, I know you
Yeah.
spoke about I know you spoke about the school, and it's always shocking when people interact with you and you hear, oh, I don't know, maybe if it was me, I'd be like, yeah, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, I sat in the building, I murdered somebody, did my 15, I'm here, walk far. I don't know, but your humility shines through, and
Yeah.
I'm sure people are shocked to hear what you are charged for
Yeah.
in the criminal law, not just the justice system.
People,
Criminal law is based on two of the highest thing is murder and treason. So yeah.
people, when they see me, they doesn't believe it. Like, I do have I don't know if I have a look, a criminal look. I don't know. I always tell people, a criminal have no face. A criminal have no face. So this way, society like to stigmatize because you have plaits in the hair, with pants down your waist, like that people don't wear crime and they wear shirt and tie, and a criminal literally have no face. So
Hmm. You think a criminal could have 28 bank accounts? Is that possible?
yeah,
No, don't pay me no mind. I just don't pay me no mind. But yeah, for that was an inside joke.
yeah,
Totally.
yeah,
Here, yeah.
yeah.
Um, I'm glad that you say a criminal has no face because it
No, a
could be
criminal have no face.
a woman, it could be a politician, it
Anybody,
could be a teacher, it could be a
it have
police.
more criminals on his shoes than in prison.
Thank you. And a conviction is only evidence of criminality.
Yeah,
But
if I get
it
caught or accusation.
exactly accusation. So I'm glad that you say that, and it opens the eyes of many people. Lorna wants to know how it is that you learn how to read, and this is interesting that you say that because you're very articulate and yeah.
I learned from a guy who was serving a life sentence at the time, and he would have sit down every night. We opposite each other. We was never share the same cell, but he was like a feet away. So
Hmm.
we used to communicate like that. He used to break up the words to me. I used to break it up and repeat it, and so long, and then I started to. And the most easiest book to read was the Bible.
Yes. How many times in 15 years did you read the Bible?
But I lost count.
You lost count?
Yeah, I lost count how much time I read the Bible in prison. I can't.
Interesting.
I lost count. I can't remember how much time I read the Bible in prison, but it was a lot. Every time I go to court, every
Yeah,
time you go to court, you read a psalm before
I'll tell you that I read it twice in
twice.
8 years. Twice. From front to back. Revelation turn up. After you read Revelations, every time you hear noise, you look in the sky. But anyway, that's another thing.
Yeah,
Um,
that's just the culture in China. Like every time a man go to court, he will always chant. He will always read a psalm. That's a traditional culture.
you have a
When
favorite,
when in them police spaces, that when they just try to find God and like the back literally against you all, nobody can help you. Nobody.
but
Only
God.
me.
Hmm. What's your favorite psalm, if you have one?
My favorite psalm wanna be Psalm 35 and 91.
35 and 90. I know 91. I don't think I recall 35.
35 and 91.
Okay, mine is 121, but that's good. So we all have similar experiences but
Yeah,
different interpretations of look, walking in divine says Psalms 91 and Psalms 27 is hers. Ironically, walking in the divine purpose, 91 is my mother's, and 27 is my father's. So that's interesting. Yeah. So I definitely appreciate how it is that you improved yourself when faced with the greatest of adversity, and the average person would not be here talking to me right now. And I've tried to tell people that there's so many out there like us, that we are more alike and different spaces in the world than we think, and so
You
our
said
experiences are important to share. Yes,
I didn't just learn to read in prison. I published 2 books while in prison.
there it is.
So for me, peop, people come in my life and really reshape my whole life. Like I met Dr. Bajrai Singer in prison 2017.
Mm-hmm.
And since I met her, to the day I come out, she follow up with me. Like people will show you interest like that just so in prison. Like once you day out of sight, out of mind. The
Right.
day I came out of prison, she flew into Trinidad. When she flew into Trinidad, she always sang this song to me while I was in prison. When you come home, the world is yours. When you come home, the world is yours. My first time I sat on a plane, I was on my way to South Africa.
You said the world was mine. Did you say that?
No, she used to told me that the world
Same
is yours.
plane to South Africa. Did you say, "Oh, the world is mine"? I'm wondering.
I was watching a movie on the plane.
Yes.
The movie was The Matrix. It had a scene where Neo was fighting all the agents.
Mm-hmm.
And all of them all of them came on top of him. I don't know if your viewers could remember that scene. But all the agents cover him and he
Mm-hmm.
boots out in the air and started to fly. The rest of agents can fly. I felt like that because people had a lot to say when I first travel, like how you end up, how you flying, So for me, that was just funny. Like, you know, like, yo, people had time to live their life. I now come out, I know trying to live mine. So why it became a problem. Illegal to travel, like South Africa, you don't need a visa. So everybody try to find something to say to my life, like, you know. And I tell people like all the time, like, my life paused when I was 17. I may have a 34-year-old mindset, but I'm living life like an 18-year-old. I resuming from the time. So I try to enjoy myself.
Yeah, yeah.
I try to enjoy my life and my youth and try not to rush things and try to take my time with life and, do my work to my best ability. Make sure everybody on point. Make sure the guys not into no foolishness again. Always be their support. Like even outside the class, they don't just leave the class and go about their business. I Nicholas Scanners make sure and call them 3 times a week. Monday, Wednesday, Friday. You need anything? If they need anything, can I have no money? How much money you need? I give them money. I recently paid for one to go for his license. Somebody got put out where he was living. He needed somewhere to stay. I was actually in Jamaica. While
Mm-hmm.
one of my guys get put out of his family residence. And me and Dr. Baz was coordinating, get an apartment for him to stay. So with us, they have that level of support. Like they really get our support just so like when they come out of prison, like it's every man to themselves, So,
Mm-hmm.
I glad to be part of such an organization where we don't talk, we just do. We
Do
do.
right. I tell people that, I don't even say it's action and not talking. I say when you do, you don't have to. You don't. The work
Yeah,
speaks for
the
itself. You
word
don't have to
speaks for
show
itself.
people.
Like
Just do it and drown out the naysayers. What are the title of the 2 books? Because
my
this is
title, my first book title is Nico with apostrophe S, Nico's Inc.
mm-hmm,
INK. My second book is titled Trials and Triumphs.
mm, trials and triumphs. Nice,
Yeah.
nice, nice.
I
All
have a
right, so
third book to release, but
You working.
I believe with me with writing, I just need to like have something to talk about. Not just because I could do it. I need to go through some things, then to express it.
Well,
So it could be really
you just win a national honor. Isn't that something to talk about?
yeah, so, yeah, all these things that's building up for
Right.
everything.
And I appreciate that because it says that when you're sharing your story, there are markers that you want to reach, bench
Yeah,
that make the story that much
yeah.
greater. I have written a book, Reading Made Easy. It's actually to teach people to read.
Mm-hmm.
I did that with my angel on earth, Miss Patricia Banks. Um, I have not yet done a biography or told my story, put it into writing. But I think that I am waiting on something else before before the
Yeah,
story.
it has know it, it has feel it. It
Yeah,
has know it, it has feel it. You know, is everything is God on time. God on time.
right. That is it.
Everything is
That is my mantra, and it works every time. So I
God on time. Like
kind
I
of
don't rush nothing. Like me now, like I was now telling them youths on them, right? Two words I just try not to use in society. I
yes.
feeling depressed or I stressed out. Because I don't let them know that people in prison right now want your problems.
But let me tell you something in the reverse. People in prison, the only thing they stress about is coming out.
So why your problem is like, yo,
No man, life on the street is more stressful than being in prison. I wanted to come out.
nah, like, yo, I used to be traveling on the prison trucks and seeing homeless people on the streets and say, boy, I wish I could be here instead of being here. Like, literally.
And your wish came true.
Yeah, I used to buy a on the streets. Uh,
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. Say that sometimes God doesn't give us more, not us.
yeah,
God never gives a man more than he can bear. That is
so
uncontroverted.
I should be
Yeah.
real. I be real. Like when I know came out, like
Mm,
people doesn't even understand. Like people know, people when I mean people, like people that actually close to me, because
mhm,
I'm a type of guy. I do not have too many people around me. Like
mhm,
I more like to be alone, but it's something I can't get away from, you know. So, but the people I deal with, they respect my space and my silence,
mhm.
you know, because I've been into solitary confinement, and after that, I fall in love with it. I don't know why. I just like being alone. I help me focus
Your
on
own
it.
time. Yeah.
It helps me think
I, I,
more. Like,
I have a story about solitary confinement, but I'm saving it for the book. So yeah, I
yeah,
can't share.
I've been to those spaces, and I know like them. You know, all they need to appreciate and cherish freedom. Like. When I now come out, I know where I feel hole in a remote. I feel
Mhm.
real weird opening the fridge and that coolness fall on me. It's hot juice and soft drink I drinking in the prison for years.
Oh wow.
Like drinking a cool glass of water. You need to appreciate these things because that guy's in prison can
Mhm,
get something cool to drink. So that's my whole mindset. I'll be real. I like taking walks sometime. Like 'cause I know about being cramped up in ourselves 23 hours a day, 7 days a week. So I'd like to walk and go for stroll, but the place, the
mhm,
country that's getting too wild with all this unnecessary crime. Like the Caribbean is a beautiful place, not just showing like when I come to Jamaica and I met you recently, like I felt close to home.
mhm,
Like I felt like home when I landed Jamaica. Like I literally felt like home.
mhm. So tell me this. What do you think in your mind? Because you say crime is out of control. What do you think in your mind would be one of the greatest tools or mechanism to reduce crime, especially it being committed by the youth, young people,
I
and
just I just believed in money. that whoever, whether it be the government or private, they need to put the money into the right spaces. Like we have all the infrastructures in the communities. Like why we not pumping money into sports and the community centers and this and that, and the money being placed in the wrong place. Like we have potential youths, but without money, there's so much they could do.
Mm-hmm.
So I believe the money that be put in the wrong spaces. And we
Mm-hmm.
already had the infrastructure, but we're not getting the support. Because I could tell you this from experience. I was a professional swimmer before all this in my life. I used
Mm-hmm.
to swim professionally. Like when I was really young, I used to swim I was like a fish.
If you're swimming professionally, where you run with for? Why you never swim with? Don't, don't answer that. But
Yeah.
so
So
see once again, one more person who would have robbed the world of a great Caribbean swimmer by the choices you have made. That's what I was telling people, that the choices that we make now, even as
apart
young
from
as we
that,
are, affect
apart
some.
from that,
Yeah.
our club wasn't being supported
Mm-hmm.
by the government or whoever. I don't like to blame the government for nothing, but whoever. And it was only so much the parents could have do to keep the club running until my dreams are shattered. No more club, no more swimming.
Oh, they closed it down.
They close it down because lack of funding.
Did
So
that? Did
when I see stories coming out of that trend, now it was on the news where our national team was stranded in a country because lack of funding.
Mm-hmm.
So I believe once the money be put in the right spaces and the right organizations, because we
Mm-hmm.
already have the infrastructures, it have no money.
Miss, there's a viewer on TikTok. Her name is One Bumbleclad Christie. She says that we need to spend money on education. They keep
Every
putting they're putting innocent people in jail and leaving the bad men on the street. Not enough prosecutions of the gangs that are connected to the ruling governing party. And this is she's speaking about Jamaica. She also said more help for the mental health. So she's
that
who
is
that help
important.
the mentally health people
That
that
is
people are
important, especially for a man who come out of prison.
prison.
It's just I strong. But my mother give me a watching after the day I cannot wait. I cannot wear a watch on my hand.
Why?
Because well not every time, the time I put it on, the only time I put it on, it felt like I was putting a handcuff back on my
I
wrist.
don't know, maybe she should get you to do like I do. I don't wear
Like,
metal watches with metal bands either. I have the same trauma, but
yeah,
the plastic ones don't feel that way. Plus, it's a
like every time the police stop me, like since I've been out of prison, I am not doing nothing wrong. The police constantly watching me. They know my name and they continue to search me, looking for I don't know what.
hmm
So and every time I try to just keep my composure because it's a mental thing. Like I remember I had one incident where I had
hmm
three other guys in my car. We were going to a studio, roadblock, pull to the side, wind
hmm
down the window. One of my guys, he didn't have on his seatbelt, but I wasn't studying the seatbelt and the ticket that going and come.
hmm
I have it have four persons in this car. Each one of us were once charged for a murder.
mm. How many of the persons convicted for the murder?
All four.
Really?
Yeah, they studying at the college.
Okay, okay, okay.
But in the view of a policeman, if he is to ask the right questions, answer the question all of us, we could have
hmm
spent a night in the police station.
hmm
Them don't want to hear you going to college. Them don't want to hear that
All
four
right.
convicted persons in a vehicle. Where are they off to?
I want to stop for a second and put things into perspective. In Trinidad, a life sentence is not something that they issue.
The Pratt and Morgan ruling, well, you're going to be familiar with that.
Yes, yes, yes.
They now, I think they lose
Ability.
the state will lose their bid. So the guy who I told you about, who taught me to read that was serving a life sentence, he's actually free now.
So
Because,
Trinidad, in respect from the Privy Council decision in Pratt and Morgan, finds
right.
it a inhumane treatment to just leave
What is
prison.
a natural life? That was the challenge. 52. It had 52 persons that was on death row. They spent more than 5 years on death row. So the state gave them automatic life and they challenged it. They recently won the judgment. So they cannot release 52 guys back into society because they create a public panic. But little by little, one by one, they are now being resentenced and being yeah. So
I'm,
my
I'm glad you said this because I went to Trinidad. No, went to Trinidad, went to Belize, went to Barbados, went to St. Vincent. What I've noted is in Jamaica, they made legislation that possession of a firearm is 15 years. I remember you did 15 years for murder. They have 15 years mandatory minimum sentence, which I believe mandatory minimum sentences are unconstitutional. But I haven't I've taken the decision to um, do proper research so that when I bring the case before the court about the mandatory minimum sentence, the fashion that I believe is a breach of somebody's constitutional right to do that. It's interesting because in Barbados and the other nations, a possession of a firearm remains at some 2, 3 years and you can have it expunged from your record. They're not in the business of keeping you criminals and trying to hold you down in society. So to
I think
hear that,
our max could be about 5 years.
right? No, I know. So what they think here, but the government of the day, they don't have too many persons who have. Anyway, let me leave that alone.
But
Have
that's
respect
not stopping anything.
for
It
the
just breeding
constitution,
more.
huh?
It just breeding people to be.
Criminals. And also, if you're going to get a firearm, rather than possessing it, you're going to be inclined to use it because 15 years is a long time anyway. But it's interesting to note because we are at a stage, as barbaric as a nation that we are, because of lawmakers and how we adjudicate with crime, is that we're sending people to prison in inhumane conditions for 60 years,
Not too far. We're not too
years.
far.
No, I don't say no, but it's interesting to see if you guys will follow suit with Jamaica or
It
you will.
have guys spending. I spent 10 years on remand
Mm-hmm.
before I decided to plead guilty because I wanted to go.
Mm.
It have guys
Yeah.
I know right now.
So wait, they never. Yeah, there is a case right now with the Muslims. It's going to 13 years and they haven't been brought to trial. I think that um, if I
It
weren't busy
have guys.
doing
It
what I'm
have
doing,
guys waiting on trial longer than that. I know personally 15
yeah,
years, like
15,
literally in
right?
trial.
Saying is it's actually unconstitutional and because of the delay, rightfully, it's a breach of their constitutional rights and the case should be dismissed. At least in the Jamaican base through the judiciary, not the parliamentarians or nothing, that the courts have interpreted same and have given effect to the constitutionality. But I'm raising that with you and I know I've gone into the league. I love
Yeah,
the law.
yeah. That your space.
Yeah, I'm just intrigued to know that four
Yeah.
persons would have actually left prison on a road to rehabilitation, guided by you naturally at the college, and want to be productive members of society. And I
No,
think that
I don't have for 27.
No, no, in the vehicle. In the vehicle.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah,
I understand that you have a robust program that
yeah,
is
yeah. A
facilitating rehabilitation.
big team.
In Jamaica, the current government doesn't believe in rehabilitation
Yeah,
at
they will. We come in. We have a surprise to Jamaica early next year.
all. Don't tell them, don't tell them, don't tell them. I want their kneecaps bust out when they realize that the rehabilitation is done outside of their capacity, aptitude, and ability. So I'm
And
saying that because
66
I know you
show.
watch the program. Mm-hmm.
66 show. When they give a man something to do, he will be productive.
Mm-hmm.
He will be productive. Nobody comes out of prison with intentions of coming back.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody does never come out of prison with intentions of going back. But when the reality hit them, the little support, the little month or 2 months support you may get from a family that start away off, them find you should get a job now, and that freedom bubble way off for everybody. You're home now, get a job, you're trying to get a job, you might have
Mm-hmm.
children, you might have a child, baby mother stressing you, you frustrated, you get a job. I have a female in my group personally, she was hired the same day and she was fired the same day.
Mm-hmm.
She got a job in a bar. Beautiful young lady, because that what bars look at,
Mm-hmm.
and somebody shushu. She was charged for murder. Young lady, I need to send you home. We can't afford to have you anymore. So that's the
Well,
challenge we face.
that's the thing about stigma. I will say that a part of the conversation is also recognizing that after incarceration, it is your mandate and duty to live a life of service, um, exercise humility and compassion.
Yeah.
One where you don't participate in judgment, and because you don't participate in judgment, it kind of sets the stage for something much greater as you navigate the space and try to influence and help people. Is there anything you want to say to the people watching, your constituents, that's what I call them, who are inspired by you and I know are watching because I see the numbers on this live, so I know that there are people who are watching because of you. Um, anything you want to say before we go? Before you um
I just wanna say I really thank you for
mm,
sharing your platform and your viewers. I really hope that the message or something really sparks somebody to really change your mindset. If you had a mindset before of persons who been in that position. So I really grateful for being on this platform. Like I literally run off from talking to some guys to run in my car to share, and this is my drive. I just like it'll be about money with me. Like when the direction come, I go, And I
mm,
really thankful for these opportunities. Like I a gratitude guy. Like I'll be very like 'cause you can have anybody on your platform now. You don't need to have me. So I just think
no,
like
well, I appreciate the humility, but what you need to know, and in recognition by your country by giving you a national honor, is to let you know that you're not an ordinary human being, and
nine are
and where
normal. I just tell people not normal because yeah, why the things I go through in my life today they still feel surreal. Like when I go in a restaurant and people calling out dishes I can't pronounce. I started remember the jail plate I used to eat out of. I used to about like a year. No, a year ago I used to eat out of the.
yeah.
I remember I was in AC Marriott. As I woke up, I make up my bed. The housekeeper, no, no, you don't have to make up your bed. By a custom making up my bed. So like these things is like moments to me. Like I do take none for granted, and I appreciate everything. I really appreciate my freedom, and I wish that a lot of youths could think like that. Like, yo, that really makes sense. Like, prison and that, I recently saw this guy that they represented, Vibes Cartel, post up a video like that really touched me when he said it don't make no sense.
Mm-hmm.
He say his wife upstairs, he reasoning with his brethren, like, yo, all you need to wake up and realize that bad man thing, that phase out, like,
Mm-hmm.
appreciate all the freedom, like, as was the strongest people now. You see the youths and them who have their regular 9 to 5 and going to school, like, I just watch them as the stronger ones because we was weak to it. We was weak because
No,
we
you
tell we
guys
said
hearing
we
me?
can't.
Yeah.
We said we can't do that. We can't work for small money. I
Right.
can't work KFC because I have pride. I shame for somebody see me in KFC. But when I reach in
But the
prison,
only reason,
when I
yeah.
reach in prison and the officer give you room to sweep the corridor, yes, you're willfully sweeping the corridor.
You better. You might get a broom. But listen, I don't work it. The only reason why they wouldn't make me work in KFC is that them would have a problem with the barbecue chicken. I'm just putting that out there.
That would be your signature thing in KFC. They might get endorsement, barbecue chicken.
No, no, no. There's public outcries about Rasta eating chicken in Jamaica, so I won't
That was
I
a
won't
thing
get
on the
that endorsed.
past. That thing on
No,
the past.
like last week. That's like last week.
People still on
Trust me.
that. Like, that was so 90s. That was in the 90s era. I remember. That was in the days that
Mm-mm.
when like Sizzler and Bourgeois and Bounty and these guys and them burning fire and everything and anything.
The fire still a burn. Me only burn fire upon the pork. Nicholas, listen, the conversation has been great.
Yeah, I appreciate it,
I
man. I
I
really appreciate it.
look forward to your third book, and
Yeah,
as
man,
well
for
as
sure. I actually filming content right now.
oh, you're trying to make the book a visual, audio visual.
No, I actually have a documentary. Like, I have footage of the day I walk out of prison. I have footage. Like, my mother never know the day I was coming out. Like, I have footage, surprising her. So I have footage when I went to South Africa. So I just doing all these compilations and then coming out my own documentary.
Okay. Like
Hopefully next year.
that
Because a
should
lot
be
of youths,
interesting.
here why, a lot of youths don't really read much.
Mm-hmm.
So, but they like to see, they like to watch.
Right. Audio visual learners.
Yeah,
Yes.
so it's have a bigger impact. But I will come out with
Mm-hmm.
my book for the readers and just not to like step away from where it starts.
Mm-hmm. All right. Well, final thoughts. How can they locate you, find you, keep in contact with you? See if you can let the people know so that they can follow you. Your
Um,
Instagram, your Facebook, your social media details.
Instagram, Instagram will be Dreamstar, DREAMSTAR, Dreamstar underscore Nico, NICKO. TikTok will be Nicholas Khan.
All right. I trying to send it up there. Yeah, I put it in there and Nicholas can. All right,
Yeah.
TikTok. All right. All right. So let me pin it. Let me show it. Show it here. Right. No, wrong one. Right. Nicholas can TikTok. All right. So we definitely will keep in contact. Thanks for being
Yeah,
on the show. I'm gonna close the show now and see what the callers
for
have to
sure.
say.
But before you
Remember,
close up, I must say, I must comment there. And I just don't want to overhype the whole cartel thing, but truly seeing that man enjoying his freedom,
hmm
Yeah, you play a big role in that. I just wanted to commend you and congratulate you on your victory and his victory as well. See now,
Hmm.
man, celebrate freedom is really inspiring to those who've
Yes,
been in that position. And you were
I
able to
agree.
work day and night to make sure that man could do that again. So I must commend you one more time.
Yeah, man, I appreciate that. I
Yep.
appreciate that. All right. So
Yep,
blessings,
man.
man. We'll catch up.
All
All
right.
right. So people, if you want to get in contact with Nicholas, it's Dream Star Nico underscore Nico, and that's his Instagram. And Nicholas Can would be his Nicholas Can will be right. Nicholas Can certainly will be his TikTok, right? So you can follow him there. Guys, you can share your thoughts and comments. I'm reading the comments now, but very interesting. You can see for yourself the difference in terms of the tree. Impressed. I'm impressed. I'm intrigued by um, the way that boy Lexi gonna be like, oh, the quality is so bad. I can't use this eyesight. What is this? But this is an outdoor live, and we have to use the space that we have because I wanted to ensure that you guys did get a show, especially in light of the current affairs surrounding the choice of candidacy, the hypocrisy in terms of who is the candidate when people don't understand that representation matters. My position, my core position always is it is the people who decide. Any nation that disenfranchises the people from the choice of their who their representation is or who will represent them is a country that is doomed because it would mean that thank respect Leo and for a simple address to those who you find my TikTok because you have serious issues in your existence to come on my TikTok and to come on YouTube to be rude. Context Matters is not a space for you. This is a space where only positive energy is put into the universe. This is a space where people are able to learn and think critically and assess their lives, their realities, and how to navigate the world, especially for black people, especially for people who are not rich, people who are trying to find ways and means to cope in a high crime society such as Jamaica. With the opportunity to connect with the diaspora, that's the people who have left this country and continue to make contributions to the betterment of same. It's not a space where you can just come and troll and think it's okay to be disrespectful. While it is that I endorse freedom of expression in any form, and I personally am not offended by your lack of respect for self and black people and even me, I am minded to say that please have some respect for who my viewership is, who my audience is, because they love and respect me, and we are here to learn and advance ourselves and our country. And I have no other negative words or any combative words to say to you on that point. Last but not least, any news is good news. Any media coverage is good coverage. Yes, beat and teach. We have the win. Tell them. One eye at Portland Eastern as I continue to navigate and interact with the citizens and the natives of Portland Eastern. and walk into your homes, and the love and hospitality that I'm experiencing. I drown out the noise so people can cut and edit and paste media and videos and put out lives. Trust me, once again, God on time. We have been here before when social media says ISAT cannot do. And like always, you have to live to eat your words. So we have the win. Um, but to say, as we continue to grow and as we continue to fight for our country and to improve the lives of the people of our country so that the least among us can experience the greatness and the beauty of Jamaica. I just want people to know that when God is among us, and I do have all right to speak about God, no one can question me and my God. I don't know what God you serve, but the God I serve certainly interacts with me. Um, is that no man can intervene into what God has ordained for his people. I want people to know and appreciate that because that is so is so important to me and for me. And just a thought. Um, Thank you, Tissa Taylor. God loves you too, I'm sure. Just a final thought as we go into the political arena. There is two by-elections that's keeping. By now, you should realize that the Prime Minister loves by-elections. Well, he did go to the United States and say he doesn't have a problem with that in his cabinet. So, unlike his predecessor, so it may be why he's fixated on having by-elections rather than not wasting taxpayers' money and just calling the actual general election. The PNP has decided not to participate in the MP member of parliament elections because it is a waste of taxpayers' money to call by-elections so near to the actual general election. Once again, my somebody say you mean by election as in purchase election, but Cynthia B, that's another thing. What I must say though, with no apology, is that monies spent and wasted could have gone to purchasing an AC for the hospitals, funds, fixing the schools, improving education, and ensuring that the future generation has facilities that can assist in their personal development. It is important that we pay attention to situations like this, as well as we can't forget, and no one can censor me on this. There are people sitting in parliament now, and whether they want to switch them out and take time resign, who are being investigated for illicit enrichment. There's a lot of money that has been not mismanaged but misplaced for personal use, right? And when you hear Silly say 84 million for the by-election coming up, it's a waste of money, especially I mean in Portland Eastern, and the roads are not roads. The potholes. There was a time when Pernell Charles said, "No, ask me, a Porsche hold them." Well, a who for hold them right now with the big crater them we dig out. Whose hole is it? That's what is being asked. And why should the people continue to suffer like this? These are questions that has to be asked. And if we're going to improve the lives of people, I am telling you, this is an election where you are to vote for your life. Don't make nobody trick you. You love who love you, and don't make people treat you like the tree yard man and samfire you and make empty promises. In the last I bet I wanna say it. What else says size 13 hole? Open up. Anyway, the election is an election for your life, right? And it has to be that people um, must understand that there is a time for party loyalty and there is a time for loyalty to your brothers and sisters. That is important, you know. And when I say brothers and sisters, here is something that no one can deny of me. I am you. And as I am proud to be a Maroon and I am proud to be a black man and I am proud to embrace my Afro identity in its truest form, I not gonna make no wishy-washy sit and talk and defend the elites of this country and pretend as if the Minister of Finance didn't abandon ship and run off to greener pastures while they have the police officers and the teachers and the nurses and the doctors and the government workers, the public sector, even the prosecutors underpaid and they only pay the top post while everybody must continue to be in behave like we're indentured workers and slaves. There comes a point where when you continue like this, you're calling and asking for a revolution. You're calling and asking for Jamaica to be like Haiti. And speaking of Haiti, there are a lot of Haitians that have made it to the Portland space, and they pack them up in boats like a thief in the night and run them off in breach of rights, human rights violations taking place under our nose. We don't like black people in this country. And I'm saying we because even us black people don't love ourselves. And selective morality is what is causing the decay in society. Selective morality is why the youth them is saying, I'm not gonna waste my time to do something productive because I'm already being labeled as things that I'm not supposed to be. So as I walk with my chest out and my head held high, I'm going to tell you that my introduction into representative politics is to continue the work that I did as the poor people's champion. And like all politicians, you will not be for everybody, but I promise, notwithstanding, I love everybody. I am prepared to serve every single person in Portland and through my legal practice to continue to help the poor. There has to be a change, and I encourage young people to step up and have the ambition and let no one tell you it's not your time. You know, when I entered law, there were firms that told you that you had to wait 10 years before you could argue in the Court of Appeal. Attorneys who were before me by at least sometimes 3, 4, 5 years were not able to speak before the Court of Appeal, and I was speaking before the Court of Appeal 6 months at the bar. And there are persons who are King's Counsel that never spoke before the Privy Council. And it's not for want of not practicing in the area because the Privy Council hear more civil matters than criminal matters. And those are as of right as opposed to the criminal matters. And I've gone there a couple of times and advocated in the Vibes Cartel matter, the Sean Campbell matter. And I say this to say that let no one tell you that you are not good enough to do anything. Let no one tell you that you should allow their friends and the elite class to continue to rule you. There was a time when women couldn't vote. There were times when women weren't allowed to drive. There were times when black people couldn't vote. There were times where you couldn't vote unless you had land. That was the reason why George William Gordon was murdered. He split up his land and caused black people to become landowners and ended up on the voters list. And they thought that it was a coup. Know your history and understand what it is and why it is important to vote and why it is important that representation matters. You think this life is not a game. You think it is about, this is not a beauty contest either. Or if it were, I surely wouldn't be in it with my ugly self. But um, we must not be fooled by rum and boom and dancing and enchantment. And as a Samson, no Delilah go trim me. That's all me I go say. You can't rock me to sleep. And you may say many things and try to tarnish my reputation and my character. But the only reason why you would need to tarnish it is because I'm of my metal. I am of the ilk that is superior to yours. That is something that cannot be denied. And as the son of Big Youth, the grandson of James Samuel Portius, and the son of Reverend Dr. John Portius, I'm well fortified and understand the nature of my bloodline, to which no word can make me feel any inferior. That being said, do that and beat me. Call out your ancestors and beat me. Do it now. If you think you're bad, money gone. Got you, Lexi, and I think I've vented enough and ventilated the issue. So I welcome all persons, all criminals, all morally bankrupt people. If your constituents want you there, whether you beat your wife with a chair, whether you steal some money, whether you do whatever you're doing, um, it is you who have to answer to your God. It is you that must have self check integrity and know whether or not what you have done is in the past or is in the future. If the sword of Damascus is hanging over your head, and if you put your head up, it goes down your throat, you alone must know. But the past is the past, and if your future is muddled with corruption and illicit enrichment, only you must know how you sleep at night being a thief. But certainly, when you come for me, I am here to tell you that integrity and good character is always as of now. Tried, tested, and proven. We are to do the work of the people and improve their lives. An election is about improving the lives of the people. It is not about self enrichment, it's not about tricking the people. And I certainly will leave you with thoughts of what it is that you want for your country. Inclusion of minority groups, inclusion of the diaspora, the maroons, inclusion of the mentally ill. How do we care for them? I'm in Portland Eastern and I see them all around the town with no provisions for the betterment of their lives. Where are the schools like Jamal? That institution is defunct. How do we reinstitute that so that we can educate people? How can we encourage young men and women who miss the opportunity to learn how to read and write um, during the school years to continue and understand that they still can become great through education? And education, as long as you're alive, you can teach an old dog new tricks. It's never too old to learn. But there we have it. That was Context Matters for the Halloween. Maybe that's why I'm in the dark. Boo. Um, yeah, and I believe the children are our future. Teach them well and let them lead the way. That's a witness song for those of you who don't know. And I'll see you guys next week. Send me messages. Continue to show the love. Big up yourself, the people of Portland Eastern. I feel the love and I know that it was not a mistake that you asked me to be here and I am now here. And for those of you who wish that you could vote here so that you could stop the win that I have told you that I have the win, it's not too late to change your vote. But just know that it might be at the expense of a constituency and an MP that you love dearly, that you would want to come and fight me. But do what you must, because the writing is on the wall. Context matters. Bless up my people.
It took some time to understand, yeah, just what it takes to be a man. Now it seems each day you learn way. Growing up ain't just a phase, it's reality. And sometimes it's hard to face the world with your head screwed on. But in time you will see, it comes naturally, like the hurt and the pain. It's a part of the game. It's all a part of life, to laugh and to cry. That's right, it's all in life. Gotta keep your head up and keep it stride. No time for living a lie. Gotta keep it moving till you get it right. That's right, it's all in life. Gotta keep your head up and keep it stride. No time to be living a lie. You can make it if you try. You know I heard them say, life much better you live it your own way. But if you need a helping hand, just call on me, I will be your friend. And when it gets hard to face the world with your head screwed on, just tell yourself you can. And that's when you'll understand that the hurt and the pain, it's a part of the game. It's all a part of life, to laugh and to cry. That's right, it's all in life. Gotta keep your head up and keep your stride. No time for living a lie. Gotta keep it moving till you get it right. That's right, it's all in life. Gotta keep your head up and keep it stride. No time to be living a lie. You can make it if you try. You gotta keep on moving on. Don't let no one stand in your way. Gotta keep on pressing on. As we pray for better days, keep it moving. Moving to the next. When they try to bring you down, we gotta take it. Take it to the next level when they come around. That's right, it's all in life. Gotta keep your head up and keep your stride. No time for living a lie. Gotta keep it moving till you get it right. That's right, it's all in life. Gotta keep your head up and keep your stride. No time to be living a lie. You can make it if you try. Just keep your head up, yeah. Just keep your head up, yeah. Gotta keep your head up, yeah. Cause everything's gonna be alright.
Keep your head up. Keep your head up. Keep your head up.
Cause everything's gonna be alright.
Cause everything